These events are created to encourage good sportsmanship for your students. You as a coach are responsible for encouraging that and building that in your students. For each event, you will receive 2 sportsmanship points. In the event of unsportsmanlike conduct by a student, parent, or coach, these points may be taken away, and the player, coach, or student may be asked to leave.
Understand that officials in every sport make bad calls. Our line judges are trained, devout, and impartial Christians who do their best to officiate according to the rule book. It is never appropriate for a coach to compromise a Christian testimony due to bad sportsmanship. For this event, each team will be required to provide a roster sheet as well as parental consent forms for each student on the team. These can be found at capital RMHC lowercase amp.org/events.
The dress code for games requires students, coaches, and officials to wear non-marking gym shoes and long pants, no shorts. We encourage teams to supply their students with matching shirts to build team camaraderie.
We encourage you to spread the word about events like this, and this can be done through church service, Awana clubs, Sunday school, or communication with parents. Players who do not wish to participate are still encouraged to come to the event and cheer on their friends.
We recommend that you arrive approximately 60 minutes prior to the start of the event.
While these Awana events are supposed to be a fun time for all the students, the greatest purpose of these events is to present the Gospels to friends and families who are watching. So we ask that you keep your students calm and respectful while the Gospel is being presented.
The chain of commands is as follows. First comes the event coordinator, then the RMHC event team, then the circle director, who is in charge of the scorekeepers and the line judges.
All teams are required to have no more than 2 coaches on the line at all times. The coaches, if they have any questions, should bring them to the nearest line judge, who will bring it to the circle director if needed. The circle director can ask the coaches to leave the game floor if needed. Coaches must remain behind the line at all times. For sparks, the coaches can help assist the kids get lined up, but must leave the circle as soon as possible.
All circle pins must be passed with both feet outside of the circle. Jumping or stepping over a circle pin is not allowed. If a circle pin is missing, students should be instructed to act as if it is still there. Failure to do so will result in disqualification. Players will be disqualified for unsportsmanship-like conduct, knocking over a game pin, knocking over a circle pin, causing interference to any other team, or breaking rules in the rule book, which play is not according to the spirit of the game.
A false start will be called when a line judge sees any movement prior to the starting horn. The first false start will result in a warning, while the second will result in a disqualification for that team.
Floor markings are the lines that you see on the floor. The width of the tape provides the margin or the areas of the event. Though if you have your foot on the margin, that's not a disqualification. But if your foot is fully over the line, then that is a disqualification.
Interference will be called when a team's fair chance of winning is impaired by another team, coach, official, or anyone else's intentional or accidental action. If a team or coach causes the interference, they will be disqualified and not included in the rerun. In all circumstances, the event will be rerun.
Possession of all events is defined as touch.
So the passing rule will take into effect on all running activities except for the 3-legged race. The passing rule is that if there's a fast and slow party, that the faster team will come behind the slower party and tap the slower one on the shoulder. And if the slower team does not move out of the way in a team section, they are disqualified due to interference.
Scoring is unique to each event, and the point totals can be found in the rule book under each event's specific rules.
For T&T, 3rd and 4th graders must have not reached their 11th birthday by September 1st. And for 5th and 6th graders, they must not have reached their 13th birthday by September 1st. All team members have needed to complete 10 sections in their books to compete. For teams, the number of players may be a minimum of 10 and a maximum of 14. For an odd number of team members, the odd player can be a 5th and 6th grader, but for even teams, the half can be 5th and 6th graders. And you need 5 boys and 5 girls and no more than 7 of each.
All T&T students must participate in a minimum of 2 events. Max events can be 7, and if they compete in a sprint race, they cannot compete in a marathon race.
For T&T, in an event of a tie, they will complete 1 heat of beanbag relay.
Ready, set.
In this event, the game leader, the player in the circle, will throw the beanbag back and forth until she gets to the last person, when she will go around the outside pin to hit the inside pin with her hand. See, the outside players cannot pass over the circle with their feet. The outside players can also not go out of their position to trail, which means catching any beanbags that might be dropped. If the beanbag does not make it to the player, the game leader can go into the circle and retrieve it. But when she does this, she must put her foot back into the triangle before throwing. When she goes around the pin to hit the center pin, the other players cannot touch her at all. When she hits the pin, she must make sure she hits it with her hand, not the beanbag.
Circles ready, set.
In this event, each team will have 3 players. The first player starts with the baton behind their team line. If it is marathon medley, they'll run 2 laps. If it is sprint relay, they'll run 1 lap. And when they pass their baton, they must be within their team zone. That's disqualification because they're in the blue zone. That is also disqualification because they touched the team pin. They must pass the baton within their team zone. Passing the line is a disqualification. When you exit, you must exit to your right away from the circle. If you drop your baton, you may pick it up, back up if it has not exited the square, and resume your race. You finish the race when you knock over the pin with the baton in your hand.
Circles ready, set.
In Beanbag Bonanza, there are 2 beanbags. There's a colored one and a striped one. And the premise of the game is to keep switching beanbags from inside the triangle to outside the circle twice. So the beanbag must be placed. It cannot be tossed or thrown into the triangle. You cannot step outside of your section inside of the triangle, but you must keep your whole body inside of your section. Once the beanbag reaches the 5th person, they will go back to the 1st and continue that process a 2nd time. For the beanbag must be placed inside of the triangle, and it cannot be switched once it has been placed in. A beanbag cannot be tossed to the other player, but it must be handed off. And lastly, you cannot pass the beanbag to a person unless they are outside of the circle.
Circles ready. Set.
In this game, two contestants will be bound together with one leg. They will take 2 laps of the circle before hitting the pin. If they fall down and are passed by another team, they are disqualified. If the band on their ankles comes off, then they are also disqualified. Another way that they can be disqualified is if they are tagged by another team that catches up to them.
Circles ready. Set.
In this event, one player from each team will start behind their starting line. They'll need to run 3 laps if this is sprint race, and 6 laps if this is a marathon race. The passing rule applies in this, so if you get tagged, you must go to the right and let the person behind you pass you. If you knock over one of the team pins, you'll be disqualified. The race ends when you knock over your pin.
So in tug, there are 4 teams, and for the sake of our demonstration, we only have 4 players, but there would usually be 8, 2 on each team. And starting, all sides need to be tight, and both players need to start off with their foot on the 5-foot hash. No player is permitted to go inside of the rope for safety issues, and if they do, then that is a disqualification. Now, every 15 seconds, the line judge will move the beanbag up 12 inches to make it easier for the people to get the beanbag. Now, you are permitted to keep one hand on the rope at all times, and you can reach with your foot to get a further reach and use that other hand to get the beanbag. Nobody is allowed to take their hands off of the rope until after the line judges say it is okay.
Circles ready. Set. Three, 2, 1.
In knock it down, a player will start behind the team zone with the beanbag. Once they enter their team zone, they can throw at their pin, but they may not cross the line. You may enter the circle and retrieve your beanbag. If you knock over another team's pin, then the game is over and the other team won.
Set.
So in ball relay, the person who is up front has to start with the ball on their neck. And how they play is just passing the ball through their legs. Now you cannot roll or toss the ball, but you need to pass it with your hands. You have to be in front, the person in front has to be in front of this red line, or blue or yellow or green, but they just need to be in front of that line. You have to go, if the ball gets out of order, you must put it back into the order that it came out of. person in the back cannot pass over the circle line until they have possession of the ball. And you have to pass between your legs, not around them.
Woo!